everybody, and welcome back. It is time for That There RageSelect podcast. Right there on That There RageSelect, and I'm That There Jeff.
Hey, I'm Bryce. Hi, Jeff. Welcome back.
Hello.
What? No.
I welcome you back. Welcome
I'm feeling
back,
so
Bryce.
welcome.
I'm just gonna start welcoming myself when I go places. I'm gonna be gonna go to a restaurant and be like, "Sir, it's so happy to see you again. Come in and sit right down."
I work at a podcast studio here in town, and I've just gotten some like phrases like baked into my responses now, because about 95% of my socializing is through work.
Right.
So now I'm very used to like saying thanks for coming in.
Yep.
So welcome to have me. I'm glad to be here. The bathroom is down the hall.
Yes. Yeah, we got a strange podcast full of weird news stories this week. We have
ghosts.
We got the big grab bag full of stories from all over the place. Probably too many, but what's new? But I guess before we jump in, Bryce, what have you been doing recently? You been watching anything, playing anything? You been doing anything cool?
I've been playing a lot of games. I feel like I've been playing a lot of games lately, but I think the thing I want to talk about more than any one of them, because the games I've been playing lately are maybe not worthy of this, but so I'm a Mac user, and I am also a gamer, and so I try to reconcile these two seemingly oil and water parts of life. But there's a software that I've been using and kind of been really digging into lately, because there are a lot of just Windows-only games, and it's called Crossover, from, I think, Codeweavers is who does it. But it's basically an emulation layer that is similar to like Wine or whatever the thing like Steam uses for SteamOS Windows compatibility. This is a very similar thing, and it lets you run and install Windows stuff. It works with Steam. I've been playing a bunch of like little indie games lately, and I've not really had any. I can think of one game in my entire time using it that didn't work well through Crossover, and it was Rat Shaker. And that game has since come out on console, so it probably might now work, actually.
That game is also pretty low, janky budget. I would not be surprised. I tell you, I don't want to derail you a bit, but I've been having this problem recently where I'll go to play an indie game for like Patreon or something, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. And then I find that it doesn't even have a slider for mouse sensitivity, and I'm like, and they've got it jacked up like I'm playing Call of Duty. Like I'm just.
That's why you need to get the Death Adder with DPI scaling on the mouse. DPI buttons. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just described a universal solution to all your problems.
I'd rather just complain about it on the internet and tell people to put stuff in there. So this is working pretty well. I mean, as I understand it, that's kind of been a thing for a long time. As like, how do you get stuff working? I mean, I thought that recently it was like they went to x86 processors. You can install a copy of Windows on a Mac now and just run it directly on the Mac hardware.
No, in fact, quite the opposite, because the new Mac chips are ARM. They're special Apple silicone chips. So that's what you used to be able to do. But one of the things with these chips is the game porting toolkit. Which is kind of like an under the hood thing that Apple's been putting out and doing little bits of updates and stuff. And it's meant that over the past couple of years with these Apple silicone chips, you've seen tools like Whiskey is what it was called. There's some other ones that are based off of the Wine, the same kind of Wine structure. Crossover is the kind of biggest, most supported one, partly because there's a bit of a price tag to it. But then the company that makes Crossover, I guess they run the Wine program, or they are really deeply integrated with Wine, so that the stuff that they develop for Crossover ends up filtering into the open source software stuff, kind of downstream
for Linux.
For Linux, or just for the open Wine. The Wine in general. Okay. So it's you could go to their website. They've got a whole spiel and a whole manifesto of kind of what.
Oh man, they got one of those charts with a horizontal and vertical axis with checks and X's all over it, telling me what the different things you could do. Oh my God, look at this one! It's got all kinds of stuff.
That's right.
The OS compatibility. That's cool.
Neat. If you're because I think that these Macs are really good. I know that there's a lot of hullabaloo about competing operating systems lately, and I think Macs are really good. These chips are really good, and even kind of the lower price models are good. But obviously, gaming is an issue for folks, and I think if you're willing to put down the cost of like a AAA video game for at least a year of support for this thing for crossover, then you can get access to a lot of your Steam library through this. Even if a game has not necessarily got ports or whatever.
And I think recently, like over the last 2 or 3 years, we've really seen or at least in my mind, we've seen a shift to. There's so much interesting stuff on the PC low budget indie game side. Like that sector is really exploding, and it doesn't take much to run any of that. Like you could run that stuff on a 12-year-old, 20-year-old system. It's mostly just like the OS problem. So
there's a lot of shared frameworks that game development uses, a lot of shared engines. And so yeah, it ends up being that a lot of these things were, Clover Pit. I've been playing a lot of Clover Pit through this. It doesn't have any Mac support. It seems like it's working fine.
Cool.
So yeah, kind of a big shout out for crossover.
Yeah, that seems cool.
What are you up to lately, Jeff?
I normally try to find a movie to watch every week, but I didn't find any movies coming out this week because they all sucked. So instead, I watched the Splinter Cell Netflix series that Shadow dropped all this week that I feel like nobody even knew was a thing. It was very poorly marketed.
Weird. Is it a Netflix original like the other Ubisoft stuff? There have been a few Ubisoft franchises.
Yes, it is, and it was. It's definitely some. I can't tell if it's CG. Like it's a very austere like animation style, and I'm pretty sure that it's veering into CG for some like the fight stuff at certain points. It's probably hand animated at other points. I know that the big thing is they got Ralph Fiennes is doing Sam Fisher's voice as opposed to Michael Ironside. I think it's fine.
This is like an older Sam Fisher.
Yeah,
he's got a big white beard.
I mean, Michael Ironside is really old, but what's interesting is that part of it, I think it was written by the guy that was like one of the writers behind John Wick. And I really kind of felt that because it was like very gritty, very shooty, big, like brutal action scenes that go on almost too long, but not quite. I was
gonna say, is there continuity?
Yeah, it actually ties into like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory had like the villain of that was like an ex fourth echelon operative that then went bad. It was kind of like a GoldenEye type of thing, and it's really tied in with like his children, and there's a lot of flashbacks. Or no, sorry, Liev Schreiber, not Ralph Fiennes. Sorry, everybody, you quit typing. What I liked about it was like John Wick, but without all the dumb roller girls in the operator room. Like it didn't have. Instead, it had all the dumb fourth echelon stuff with Anna Grimm's daughter and this spy agency that appears to have 2 people working for it, like total. And by the end of the show, they've got like 4 people working there.
Okay, massive expansion.
Yeah, but it was 8 episodes, and I thought it was really good. Like they were all 25 minutes long. They went really quickly. It was nice. It was just kind of like violent adult. Walking around, talking to gravelly voices, shooting people, blowing stuff up. So if they can make these Tom Clancy things cheaper, via the CG looks good. It is, a lot of it is clearly like 3D CG with a good looking filter and shader on it. Yeah. It wasn't distracting. It was like I could tell the difference of when it's like I spent a little bit of time going like, is that because when you animate like in that such a flat art style, you can do stuff that looks 3D and it's not going to be as hard, but then some of it was just a little too smooth.
and they've got it at the thing that I think that kills it with these 3D CG stuff is when the frame rate is too high, and this seems like it's at a 24 or even down to a 12 frame rate.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look uber smooth, and you see how all the shades and the polygons are folding under the filter.
Yep. But yeah, I mean,
That's cool.
Very violent, very bloody. I liked it. Really terrible title sequence. Just like all of the stuff around the episode, like the end credits and the title sequence, they all look just really cheap and shitty. And I was like, why? Surely at this point it's easy. You just make a statue of Sam Fisher and then you play like a slow song and then you go around it and then like little bullets take pieces of it out and then like, it falls over and then you see like a silhouette coming out of the darkness. I mean, come on, I could do this.
It makes me think of Ozark. Ozark is kind of in the this kind of like marshy area, and the posters are cool, and it's kind of got this noir drama throw, and you load it up, and it's like Final Cut Pro default title font. Ozark.
Yeah, but yeah. Other than that, I was fine. In fact, it really I've been struggling a lot over the last few years with like why do I like every John Wick movie less than the one that came before it, including the spinoff? Oh. And I think it's because that franchise has leaned so hard into their weird meta assassin world, and like this was just a lot more grounded of corporations and spies and stuff without the weird accoutrements of like gold coins and blood packs and all kinds of horse riding in the desert and stuff. So,
I mean, Tom Clancy's name speaks to a certain level of grittiness and realism.
Yeah,
not 100%, but pretty dire, a pretty strong amount.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I used to be a really big fan of Splinter Cell, and I haven't seen it in a long time. It's nice to see it come back in some form or another. Before Ubisoft as a company completely collapses and falls down.
Hey, maybe they could become an animation company.
They can't figure out what to do with their franchises. So
these shows are pretty good.
Next, it's a Ghost Recon show, and then a
Rabbids show, another Rabbids show.
What's that? What's the Division? Yeah, they could do the Division, and then they could do like their dumb phone game. They have a crossover between all of them, where all the people from all the different shows have to team up, like the gritty Avengers.
A multiverses.
Yes.
What's the Ubisoft multiverses? They had one and it died.
Brawlhalla? Brawlhalla's still going. Brawlhalla got like new DLC 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Well, anyway.
But yeah, I don't know. Really liked it.
Deathwatch.
So yeah. If you got Netflix, as with everything, it's not worth getting Netflix for, but if you already got Netflix and you're looking to kill a weekend, this is a pretty easy way to do that. Also, I appreciate that it's only 8 episodes. It's not fucking 24 episodes or some nonsense like that. So, well, speaking of nonsense that goes on forever, let's talk about Pokemon a little bit. Because one of the big things that happened last week was we had we had the big leak like in 2020. Yeah. And this was apparently a bunch of information from that same leak that they just held on to and then leaked it all this week right before Pokemon ZA came out. Yeah. All right, Bryce, before we get into this, tell me, do you Pokemons? You got to catch them all?
No, I do not, sir.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I just got done recording for that Pokemon ZA. I keep wanting to try to like Pokemon, but it's not exactly... I've never played one all the way to completion.
You are at least 32 years old, 30 years too old to be in that demographic. I'm sorry to tell you. You have aged out of Pokemon, sir.
I don't think that's true. I think I'm like 12 years too old for that demographic because I got a lot of like 35-year-old friends that are really into Pokemon because they played it when they were a kid, or as it came out when I was like a little bit more of a teenager.
I'm just making my observations as I walked into the scene, sir.
Anyway, we got some new interesting stuff. There's one part of this story that I think is probably the most interesting, but I'm going to go over kind of the initial stuff. So the big thing is there's a lot of information about the next Pokemon game. It's supposed to be coming out next year. It's a Generation 10 Pokemon called Pokemon Wind and Wave. It's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive. It's apparently going to be running on a brand new engine, which is nice because the old one is incredibly long in the tooth and not very optimized. It's supposed to be kind of in a Southeast Asian style world. It's going to be like a
Indonesia themed.
What there's like, I read another article that said, because I didn't want to go looking all this stuff up. I read another kind of summary article that was talking about how it's like there's a corporation that's despoiling the environment in order to make money, and that you have to team up with the local folks and your childhood friend to like run them off of the island. And I'm like,
sustainability theme.
Sure, a Captain Planet, a Fern Gully. So yeah.
This is a future for you and me.
Also, they've said that there might be procedurally generated islands full of Pokemon.
Okay.
Given what I've seen of Pokemon in the past, I actually think that's fine. Like the environmental storytelling in Pokemon has never been like a huge thing. So having just kind of a big generic island full of specific types of Pokemon, I don't think that'd be a problem. But
yeah, I guess I would reserve judgment on that because it's almost sounding like some sort of Wind Waker-esque, Wind Waver-esque left turn for what these games could be. So I don't know. Maybe there's a space for a procedural Safari Zone.
Yeah.
Inside of a larger, it sounds like multi-region map.
Yeah.
That stuff needs that's tech debt. Those Pokemon games, those Pokemon engines are rough.
Yeah,
rough.
That's what I'm hoping they transfer over to the Switch 2 entirely, because I think we've seen a lot of games on modern consoles that when we had games that were straddling the generations, they just they felt like they were held back when compared to stuff that was exclusive to the current gen systems. So, yeah. In addition, there's a game that after that is supposed to be a big, perhaps MMO, that takes place between several different regions in the game. Like they're hooking together a bunch of the regions from previous games and then making kind of a big online thing. I feel like Pokemon has slowly been dipping its toe into the online thing, as the current ones have like raids that you're supposed to do with multiple people all at one time.
In Pokemon Go or in like an actual Pokemon game?
In the latest Pokemon games, like in Scarlet Violet, it was like there was end game boss raid content where like you and like 3 other people would go into a dungeon and fight like the huge Pokemon, and it would take a whole team to do it. So,
yeah, okay.
So yeah, expanding that out into a whole ass thing, that seems about right. And then the other one. At what
point does like Temtem or Pal World go after Game Freak for that? Hey, we made the online multiplayer Pocket Monster game, not you.
Is that how it happens? They just sue each other until the agreement is okay. Everybody's got to leave everybody alone.
I turned on Temtem. I got it like on PlayStation Plus or something, and I turned it on, and I went through the like 5-minute tutorial, and I went onto the open world, and there were just people around me, and I freaked out, and I force closed the game.
Just yank the LAN cable out of the back.
You are not to get out of here. Invader, intruder.
Yeah. And then the last one apparently is another Pokemon Legends game, which like Legends Arceus or Arceus, I've never known how to say that. Was it like you have current person who goes back in time to before people and Pokemon lived together,
like 1,000 years in the Poke Past.
Yeah, and he was the one who was like, nah, you can catch these guys and use them to do stuff. And apparently there's another one that's supposed to do the same thing in the Galar region, and it's about creating the first Gigantamax Pokeball to capture huge kaiju-sized Pokemon that are wandering around fucking everything up. So,
okay.
Yep.
I want we talk about that. This comes from the Terra leak, which was a major leak, but was also a while ago. Mm-hmm. I wonder. I wonder how much the plans have changed since the data from this leak did leak. Yep. I mean, ideally, if you have a good plan, you don't need to change it, even if people figure out what you're doing. But things change over time, trends shift over years. So it'll be interesting. I guess maybe the timing of this means that the leakers feel confident that this is still the plan for some of these games. But then, like, does that mean that they have more data that they're accessing to come to that? Or maybe it's just they're timing it because you said ZA just came out. So
yeah.
it's strange.
I wonder if I wonder if they put out the first leak as a way to try to blackmail some Bitcoin out of Game Freak / Nintendo, and that when they didn't get any, they were just like, oh well, we're going to dump all this information like days before your new game comes out just to be disruptive. If you're not going to give us money, then we're going to just we're going to be as disruptive as possible with this leak. So
it seems like this one seems like a case where like bad press is good press.
Yeah.
Hey, I just found out there's a new Pokemon game out. So
yeah. And then also there was potentially a Pokemon Black and White remake, which is a thing, but apparently they're not. They're not working on that. So
the line is that like anything from Black and White or newer needs to have pretty significant needs to be a pretty significant remake if we're going to remake those games,
right?
Because they are so far kind of already up the tech curve.
Yeah. And that was kind of the big like content leak. There were a couple of other things that I thought were interesting. There's a redesign, I guess, on Pikachu.
Pikachu's got a chin. They gave Pikachu a chin.
Yeah, they made his head a little bigger. I don't like the fact that they made his tail less sharp. I like it when his tail is sharp like a lightning bolt. Now it's rounded off so as not to hurt the children who grab Pikachu's tail. They're not going to get pointy stuck when they grab the tail.
In the side-by-side, I do like the older silhouette of Pikachu where he kind of has less of a neck and less of a chin. He's just kind of one pill sort of shape versus the new one where he's got more of a pronounced kind of chin and head. But I think in motion, I think the new one will look fine.
The big thing that's the big supposition out there in all these articles that I read is that the quote unquote new version is more in line with what Pikachu looks like in illustrations and marketing materials, and the old one is more in line with like what that sprite has looked like in the game. And so it's probably just bringing it. Like I read this headline about like they're redesigning Pikachu, and then I pulled it up and I was like, oh, this is incredibly minor.
They already redesigned Pikachu.
Yes.
You weren't the person buying all the card packs and seeing it happen.
Yes. The big thing here is that we got some information about the budgets on these Pokemon games. And I thought this was really interesting because, Pokemon Sword and Shield was about $16.4 million. Pokemon Legends Arceus was $14.4 million. And Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was $21.8 million, which, like, these are incredibly low budgets for what is considered to be, this like tentpole, globe-trotting, like popular with everyone franchise. Like these are very modest budgets in comparison to the stuff that you're seeing out there. Like in this article, they talk about how the Call of Duty Black Ops games are between $450 and $700 million. And, Pokemon isn't Black Ops, but still like...
It's a lot of work, and it's not necessarily an annual franchise.
Yes.
Even though it does seem like they are getting more and more teams to do these like spin-offs and remasters and what have you.
Yeah.
I think this all makes sense. I mean, this seems in line with kind of Nintendo's tendency to be a little conservative with spending. And I mean, it's a kid's franchise, and it's meant to print money. And I think if you look at these budgets and you look at the controversy, to me, I think the biggest controversy of late with Pokemon would have been like all the Pokédex shrinkage stuff and all the issues. They don't want to update. They have the models. They just don't want to put them in the game. They don't want to update all the models.
Right.
But when they're looking at budgets that are that size and release dates that have been pretty firm, and pretty steady with releases, I mean, you got to churn it out.
I don't know. Level. It's interesting to me. To me, the one thing that I think is somewhat damning, my critique, let's say, of this is that I thought that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was like unplayably bad. Like the frame rate and the draw distance and the resolution and like the bugs, that game was just unacceptably busted when it came out, and I don't think it really ever got that much better. Like, there's a Switch 2 patch that does make it look a lot better. It makes it run better, and obviously because it's got more hardware. But I think that part of this, I think that what these budgets then show is that we're just kind of like, we're not necessarily, we're just iterating on the last year's Pokemon, right? And if there's a problem, whatever, there's going to be a new one in a year, and who cares? Where I think that I probably would have liked to have seen a little bit more work go into Scarlet and Violet to get it running in an acceptable fashion on the Switch. I mean, Legends Arceus and Sword and Shield both seemed like Switch games at the time when they came out, and they seemed fine. It was mostly just Scarlet and Violet where it was like, I wouldn't accept this if I was the person who was making this game. I would say we're not going to release it in this state because it's absolutely just terrible. But
I wonder if those numbers, I wonder what those numbers represent, if those numbers include things that you would otherwise include in a budget, like marketing costs, advertising costs, any amount of manufacturing, or like, we don't know if that's just the cost for the coders. Then those budgets could be double. For all we know, they could be triple because like I said, they're not spending it on making the games better.
Right, exactly.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
So that an interesting facet to this strange leak.
Yes. I think it also, when I was reading this today, I was thinking about how if this is kind of the way that Nintendo operates, like, no wonder they're such a stable company, as opposed to all of the chaos that we're seeing in these American game companies that are like, over leveraging themselves or making these big teams for projects, and they're having to do big layoffs. They're always like expanding, and we've seen the contracting and all this stuff that happened with the pandemic. That if Nintendo is just making these modest games with modest budgets, but in franchises that they know are going to be popular enough to sell, at the very least enough to make up their budget, then you can see that slow plodding progression being the reason that their value just kind of keeps slowly going up, as opposed to kind of spiking all over the place.
And I think like Nintendo has earned the reputation of like the idea that the games that they make and publish directly, rarely go on sale. They rarely drop their price because it seems like they do to kind of do some of the stuff the hard way. They try to be about good ideas, even if the technical sides of it are a little small. And then there's the whole thing of Game Freak being not Nintendo,
right?
And so whatever. Don't leave
Game Freak and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, and it's this three-headed craziness. But yeah, I don't know. It was just an interesting revelation. It's strange to me also because as near as I've heard, just to go off on a little tangent, I just got done recording videos for the new ZA, and it runs very well on the Switch too. Runs at 4K, runs 6 frames per second, looks real nice. I've heard that the resolution is 1080 and the frame rate is 30, but that other than that, it looks pretty much like if you take still images of the games, they look pretty much identical on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, which makes me wonder if they're using the same engine as they did before. Again, I actually really thought I was really excited to try Scarlet and Violet, and I kind of got a chip on my shoulder because it came out, and I was like, well, no, I'm not going to play that. Fuck you guys.
Who knows? And I know that I feel like the Switch uses a lot of adaptive resolution to kind of equalize a lot of that stuff as well. So
let's see. We also got there was another hack that happened last week specifically at Nintendo. So there's a hacking group that claimed that they had breached Nintendo servers and stolen internal information. Nintendo, though, did come out and put out a statement saying we've not confirmed any leak of personal information. There has been no leak of development or business information. So apparently this is not a huge deal. But I thought we're talking about hacks. Might as well just throw it out there.
There you go.
Yeah, not much more than that. Let's see. Well, that's the same story. All right, let's move on to other business shenanigans. We have the big EA acquisition that is currently ongoing. Last week, Richard Blumenthal and Elizabeth Warren, senators of the United States, wrote a letter to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that they have concerns over this deal giving a foreign country unfettered access to sensitive consumer data, as well as, what was the other one? Just kind of overall taking American companies out of America type of thing. Yeah. I can see no world where this is even remotely a consideration moving forward, given what I know about the current administration of the United States of America, especially considering that Jared Kushner was part of the investment group that is part of this purchase. So I think this thing is going to be rubber stamped as fast as possible, and that nobody's going to bat an eyebrow, at least in the U.S., when it comes to making waves about this. That the FTC will just kind of like sweep it on through.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, God, this is so stupid. It's such a dumb fucking way that we have to be talking about this. Like, Electronic Arts doesn't need the money. The Public Investment Fund is a entertainment washing consortium.
Yep.
EA is in the business of making as much money as they can. The government is in the business of making as much money as it can for itself.
Yep.
Like, what is like, put it on the pile. Sorry, put it on the pile.
Yep. There was part of this story that was talking about how when they were doing the math for this, there's about $500 million worth of money that will probably just be going to the bankers that write up all the contracts and like work on all the investment stuff for this. So, I don't know. It did get me wondering. I mean, I know the answer to this, but like, if the Saudi investment fund is interested in diversifying their portfolio, why don't they create like Saudi game studios and develop video games and then put them out, like good video games, and then put them out? I don't know. I mean, I know the answer to that is because it's way easier to just buy existing companies than it is to spool up a whole industry.
I mean, that fund has billions plus of dollars to throw around. And also, I probably wouldn't be surprised if there had already been efforts to make kind of in I don't know. I think there probably were efforts also to make games internally, but guess what? All the video game companies are in the West.
Yeah,
that sucks for them. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see another EA news.
The Riyadh Game Fest coming to.
Well, I don't know. You know,
Game Jam.
I don't know how much we've got into this, but like, how much do you think this is going to affect EA? Like, I think that at least in the short term, that the debt that they're loading on means that you're going to see a shitload of people fired and a whole bunch of properties and studios sold off in the next, like as soon as the deal is done, that you start a fire sale of the non-critical EA stuff in order to try to hack away at that debt.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the profit centers at EA are probably pretty well identified. We probably will see games get made cheaper, if you could imagine. They probably will try to cut costs and try to to continue to turn a profit, especially with any sort of added debt on because of the sale.
Yeah.
But I think it also doesn't behoove anyone to do a big deal like this and then immediately fire a bunch of people in underlying development studios right away. I think the question is going to be, what the fuck was all the money for if it wasn't to pay you people to make games? I think that's not the very first question we want to ask.
I think the answer to that is Madden and EAFC, and that's like all that they really care about. Maybe, I mean, I know The Sims is a big earner, but outside of that, I don't know.
I mean, you have the annual games between not just, I mean, yes, Madden and EAFC, but I don't know. It's just such a fucking weird thing.
It was a strange headline to wake up to a couple weeks back. We also got some strange behind the scenes shit talking. There was a story last week where Vince Zampella was basically talking about how I don't know. The headline on this is that Call of Duty only exists because EA, like, quote, EA were dicks, unquote, because apparently Vince Zampella started his career at EA, making a bunch of the Medal of Honor games that that were very popular at the time, and then went to EA and was looking to make another one, and they basically shut him down, and then he left and went to Activision, and started up the Call of Duty series over there, and then eventually left and then went back to EA for Titanfall and Apex Legends, and is now the director on Battlefield 6. But knowing that EA's
what does that mean? What the fuck? I tried to read this story also ahead of time, and I don't understand it. What did EA do that make them dicks? They made Call of Duty in response to Medal of Honor. Is that what it is?
Vince Zampella was working on Medal of Honor, and he was the lead designer. And then apparently at some point EA decided that they wanted to take Medal of Honor and they wanted to start developing it internally because he was part of an external development studio. And he was like, well, no, I want to keep doing it. And they were like, well, you can join him with the company. And he decided, no, I'm going to split. So then he went over to Activision and basically created Infinity Ward, I guess, back in the day, and then started making the World War II Call of Duty games that directly competed with Medal of Honor, but were better, and kind of killed that franchise off and spun up the whole Modern Warfare thing up until the point where then he was unceremoniously, him and the other guy were unceremoniously booted out of Activision, and then they went back to EA, and they made Titanfall 1, and they made Titanfall 2, and then they made Apex. And so just back and forth between these two companies.
Hey, guess what? He's got a new game out. Okay,
yes.
Whatever.
Yes. All right. I don't know. I just think it's
like the perfect article, right? Like EA were dicks and Call of Duty's always been shit. It's just a response to the bullshit of the suits. Buy our game. We have our own types of suits.
Well, I think it's just interesting because Vince Zampella is currently the lead on Battlefield, an EA product that just came out. Like, he's the guy that's now in charge of the entire Battlefield franchise over at EA. So the idea that this article comes out with him shit talking the company that he currently works for, at least their decisions around that same time, that was a little strange. That was a little strange to me in reading this.
Wait, what? Wait. Because EA were... This is not this is a riddle not worth trying to solve. I'm ready to.
Okay, let's move on to a different story. Shit talking EA. Well, sort of.
Put it in a burn book and then burn the book. I don't know what to tell you.
So let's move on to Glenn Schofield, who was the guy that made the Callisto Protocol, the head of the Callisto Protocol. It's one of the people that was on Visceral, that did Dead Space, yeah. And apparently he went back to EA after who did the remake of that? It was Motive or something. Whatever. The company that did the Call of Duty or the Dead Space remake. He went back to EA with a pitch deck and was like, I will make you a new Dead Space and I will do it super cheap. Just have them give me all the assets that they made for the up-resed assets that they made for Dead Space, and I will crank out a new Dead Space 4 for you for not that much in comparison. And they basically said, no, we have no interest. Dead Space isn't a thing that we're interested in anymore. And so he left. But apparently now he's back bugging them. He's back in their inbox, bugging them now that the EA sale has gone through about like, hey, you guys have a little debt. I can make you a Dead Space game. Those Dead Space fans, they'd buy it. I could do it on the cheap and they'll like it. What was this quote? Give me $75 million and I'll make you something because you could save more money with a great creative idea.
I'm sorry, you want me to give you 3.5 Pokemons?
Tony Stark made a Pokemon game. $14 million. Yeah, I don't even know if I would trust him because the Callisto Protocol was was terrible. It's not very good.
This is something I'm gonna make this a games journalism problem. We've seen hacks and slashes in these newsrooms, and now we're just getting the most like desperate level. This guy is using the press to make his pitch.
Yep.
He's trying to make his pitch not just to EA, though EA and their new founders I'm sure could be listening, but to anybody who will listen. Because look, Dead Space. How many games are in Dead Space? 3, 4? 3.
Yep. And then the remake. There was the 3 and then the remake that came out last year before.
How many of them are good? How many of them were explosive?
2.
Maybe 1? 2?
The first 2. I would say the first 2. It was when they got to the third one, they started doing all that weird transmedia shit where there was like a smaller Xbox 360 game and there was like an anime and there was a comic book and it's all this stuff. And I was always thinking, I think you guys have really overestimated how much people are into Dead Space.
Yeah.
Like space horror action third-person game. Yes, I played Chronos the New Dawn all the way to the end. I dig that shit.
But yeah, for like TV watchers don't like sci-fi.
Yeah.
They don't like horror. I'm sorry about it. We are into genre, and that's fine. A lot of people don't like these genres, and to make something pop, it can't just be Dead Space, which is kind of this like, okay, well, sort of well received in gaming circles, but not. People aren't wearing Dead Space jackets.
I don't know.
People are barely wearing Mass Effect jackets anymore. You got to go based on what the jackets they're wearing.
You got to look at the jackets, man.
Look at the jackets.
Glenn, what about the jackets? I don't know. Maybe he said this because you know that EA just put a Dead Space skin in that skate game, that online skate game. They just put out a $40 Dead Space costume that is made out of cardboard and looks like crap.
They're using the digital marketing machine to jerk you off.
Yeah.
The full bundle of the outfit plus the board and the trick and the wheels and some stickers is $40 American dollars.
Yes, and it's like made out of cardboard. It like literally
it doesn't even look good.
It's literally made out of car. It's like supposed to look crappy, and you were going to give me $40 for the supposed to look crappy DLC. So, I personally think that
this needs to be a movie. That needs to be the movie.
I think that the reason for this is that Glenn Schofield was out at VGC at Gamescom Asia and was doing a bunch of interview stuff. And of course, you're just going to say whatever. He also did some kind of keynote where he's like, "I'm very worried about the state of the industry," and it's like, well, yeah, no shit, Glenn. Like, everybody that has eyes could look around and see the state of the industry right now. Yeah.
I mean, look, we're 43 minutes in, so you definitely don't want me to get into my arguments on why the industry is in a bad state.
True. I tell you what, let's wrap it up here with one more EA story. So Battlefield 6 is out, and apparently one of the problems, or there's a kind of a big issue that people are having, and that is that I feel like this is a thing that happens a lot with a launch title. The XP amounts are set really high, so it's taking people forever to level up, to level up the guns. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's something also with the matches. I didn't go into this hugely, but there's something about the length of the matches are either too long or too short or something. EA said they're going to be fixing this, but in the meantime, Battlefield 6 has that. I think I showed it to you. There's like a mode where you can make custom game types in Battlefield 6. And so people have pulled a Fortnite where they basically created like this PvE with the stupidest enemies, with the lowest health, with the longest match type, so that you can just go in there and rack up 1 billion XP points in 10 minutes as opposed to actually playing through the game. Yeah. And apparently, I mean, this is a thing that where EA has been cracking down and deleting those custom games, even though, I mean, it's use the tools that were there. It's not like this was a workaround or a hack or anything.
What are the microtransactions in Battlefield? Is there like a battle pass? Do you buy levels? Do you buy skins?
I think I think it's the whole 9 yards. I think there's. I know that there's not big skins. I know there's not American Dad skins.
King of the Hill skins.
Right. But I think there are some skins. I know that the game has XP boosters in it. I'm not sure if you can buy those, but given that it's EA, I would assume that you could buy those. But yeah.
Here's what happened with Gran Turismo 7, because Gran Turismo 7 also kind of launched with pretty stingy rewards for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And some parts of the game did get some payout increases over some major updates. There tended to be some payout bumps within the first year or so. But in general, like, payouts are still pretty low, especially in the multiplayer, especially in the online, unless you are, even when you win a race and like start from the top and you have a clean race, it's not a lot of points or credits that you get from doing that race. And I think it does kind of have a dampening effect as a player. And that's in a game where the credits are not particularly useful, especially when you're playing online, right? Then the cars have got an amount of spec to it. So I have to imagine like that's one of the potential outcomes for this, is that they kind of maybe give a few concessions here and there, and the players who really dig it, if this is a game with legs, then they'll stick it out and just put up with it. But I kind of don't expect there's going to be any leverage or incentive for the Battlefield dev team to majorly up the rewards here. It doesn't seem like, that's not going to increase engagement. That's not going to, maybe people will feel a little better, but this is, Battlefield. These should be the folks who are like really tapped into what makes people engaged and to pay money. So
yeah, I mean, it looks like they've made a number of small tweaks already, like adjusting some of the XPs. They said they adjusted the first 20 ranks of attachments for each gun. Like, that's the thing that's always been. I played this in the beta where every gun in Battlefield has to be ranked up, and every rank unlocks a new attachment. And those do change things pretty dramatically. Once you really start unlocking a bunch of the attachments for a gun, you can really customize and kit it out. So not having that is like, or make it too slow. But then I was just thinking about how, like, if you were a game developer, you would want to, it seems counterintuitive, you would want to launch it too high. You would want to have the requirements dialed up too high. That way, if there's a kickback, you can look like a nice guy, turn them down, and everybody's like, oh my God, that's so much better, as opposed to launching them too low, and then having to crank them up, which nobody ever likes. Right.
Weird. We'll see what it looks like over time.
Absolutely. Then we're going to go ahead and take a break. We come back. We've got a whole bunch of news stories left to go, so stick around, and we'll see you in just a minute. And we are back. More news. We have more news. I got a bunch of tabs open. They're all full of news.
I'm ready for a new taste.
So much news. When we left off, EA was talking about like making adjustments to an online video game to address a problem. Apparently,
can we make that more insufferable?
Yes, by adding one Randy Pitchford. No, Borderlands 4 apparently has a problem right now where there is like this knife that you could get, like a throwing knife, that if you throw it at somebody, it raises the crit rate to 100% for like 20 seconds, and it just makes the damage in the game absolutely and completely ridiculous. Like, you're seeing like the old you remember the Destiny loot cave where you would just see like, just piles and piles of blues and greens and stuff, where there was like this one cave in the original Destiny game where you could go there and it would spawn these guys really quickly, and people would just sit there farming them to get like super high level stuff, and it was just, the ground would just be covered in loot.
Is this a problem? Where it sounds like we're describing a good scenario. You got the whole thing is they made 8 trillion guns. There's 8 trillion guns. There must be a trillion types of knives. This is all good.
No, they're patching it out. I don't know.
What the fuck? It's not a competitive game.
I don't know.
That's wild.
I get it. I think I get it in that, like, they want people to be playing this game in a variety of ways, and not because apparently there's been this weird thing happening in the Borderlands 4 community where people keep trying to find builds that do more damage than this one knife that any class can use. And I don't know. They put out a statement basically saying, like, here's a quote from one of the developers: the gun builds that use the crit knife have other options, and more options are coming soon. The idea here being that they don't want there to be a meta of this one thing. They want people to be experimenting with different stuff. And I mean, I guess it does slightly imbalance things. If you're going to be putting out additional content, you'd like to be able to have a better handle on like what the overall growth in the game looks like.
Yeah, these are artisan craft, finely tuned, balanced missions. If that scag comes one milliframe too soon, Randy Pitchford is going to lose his USB inside your noggin, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would kind of go back and forth on this about, like, I don't know.
I mean, it's like, if you're gonna fine, whatever. It's your game changer, whatever. Yeah. It sounds like maybe it wasn't meant to generate in this specific. Fine, whatever. But like, at this point, the balance should be known. They've got it. They should have it written down and telling people what it will be. We shouldn't be in this like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and whip this up into a thing.
Yeah. Well, apparently they were going to patch it out this week, and then there was like a community outcry. They said, well, we'll wait till Monday to give you guys one last weekend to screw around with the OP throwing knife. So I don't know. I don't care. Like,
then.
Yeah, other video games have cheat codes you can enter in to get infinite BFG ammo and become invincible if that's how you want to play the game.
Maybe if it's a really common thing, maybe that's worth investigating. It does sound pretty powerful. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe you should need to put a lot of shift codes into the machine to get that knife. I don't know, but
yeah,
whatever. Thank goodness we weren't paying $80 for this, Randy.
Oh yeah. Well, also, Randy came out and talked a bunch of stupid crap about stupid crap.
Yeah, what did he say?
He was on an interview on BBC Radio 5, and he was talking about, okay, so here's we got like a couple of different sections of Randy Pitchford says stupid shit. So the first one is this quote right here. Quote, "Our mission is to entertain the world, which means we suck because there are billions of people in this world. We got a lot of work to do. Borderlands with 4, we're going to cross probably 100 million units sold with Borderlands 4 of the franchise. That's awesome compared to a lot of things, but it kind of sucks if your goal is to entertain the world. So I feel like we're just getting started."
That is rage bait. This is entrepreneur slop. They're supposed to say that. That means he's working as intended. I'm going to tank this one. Next quote.
Okay.
Next quote.
All right. Then he talks about how if other game developers could figure out how to put RNG loot in their games, then they would be as successful as he was, because everybody likes RNG loot. He goes this weird tangent about how, like, oh my God, this quote. We've reduced it down to this simple moment with this interface and this system. It's a gratifying loop. It's a gratifying decision. Our brains need to do it, and our brains like doing it, and we're better off when we do it. The more we exercise that muscle, not just in the video game, but literally in our life, this is what separates our species from a lot of others, and how we developed language, and how we developed all kinds of high levels of consciousness and cognition that allow us to analyze the world. It goes on from there, but I'm going to stop because...
And now...
Yes.
You need to apply the entrepreneur slop debuff to this, all right?
Of course.
You need to cut about half of that, 2/3 of that, none of that. But I think what he is keying into is that Borderlands, if you look at the totality of it, could sit in the same in the same path as an Assassin's Creed, as a game that is tactile, has a tactile loop that the gamers enjoy. There is something about looking at the loot and seeing if the numbers match up and how do the numbers compare to the thing that I'm like, it's even right now in my head, I'm going through the process of what I would do and what numbers would, and then they make it more complex. It's not just one number. There's a bunch of different numbers and there's different types of guns and there's different, then there's elements of the types of guns and there's types of guys that the elements are.
Sure.
Right. It is an addictive gameplay loop. It's designed that way. So I understand that the idea that there are no competitors or there are competitors. There are other looter shooters out there. Maybe none that go to the degree that Borderlands does and to a level of polish that Borderlands provides. Sure, there's lots of indie games out there that do procedural generated stuff. There's other shooters out there that do procedural generated guns, but Borderlands does do a thing well that God, I feel like I feel like this is like a first grade report. They do a thing well that a lot of people do respond to.
Yeah.
And if you want flowers for that, then here they are. I put them in the bag for you, little bro.
I don't know. There's this other one that, when they were talking about that, where he says, quote, "You're poking at some fundamentals, which is part of why I think Borderlands as a game has worked and does work, why it's a very delicate design. And I think it's one of the reasons why there haven't really been many successful imitators since we first showed how a looter shooter could work with the original game." I think that when I read this, what I went back to was the first quote, which is like, dropping guns that have random properties in a game, dropping loot, dropping weapons that have random properties in a game. Sure, I get it. But I haven't played very much of a lot of the Borderlands games because I need a reason to be doing that, and the overall story of Borderlands has not been compelling enough to get me down one step into the lizard brain min-maxing RNG loot mechanics of the game. I don't know. Like in this way, it seems like he's saying, well, we don't have that many people that are trying to compete with us in this space. And I think I reply with like, is this something that is so popular? Is this something that is so universal that if somebody else made a game that had RNG machine guns falling out of guys like a loot pinata, and some were purple and some were green, that like you would just be able to ring the cash register, the end? Like, I don't know.
I think Borderlands has a multiplayer element on the level of a Destiny or The Division.
Yeah.
In that, it is a franchise that has sold pretty well, as he says, and is partly because it has multiplayer, it has co-op, it has end game stuff. It has kind of slotted its way into those, and by virtue of it being already a pretty big and successful kind of expanded franchise, deserves to sit among some of those games. To sit much bigger than some of these other experiences that have core, really galvanized fan bases. It just so happens that like Claptrap got to a lot of them first, a lot more of them first.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's also possible that my critiques of this are just because this is very much not the style of game that I'm into. It's online, and I also I rankle a little bit over the years with these RNG loot drop games because I can see, well, I mean, everybody can, but like I personally don't like the idea of just like, so you could play this game forever. You could just do this over and over again. You could sit at your computer for 100 hours and just keep doing the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to. I want to play it. I want to be done with it. Want to move on to the next thing. But that's just me.
And I think in the multiplayer aspect, I think it's something that sits a little more closer to like a weekly game night or a weekly D&D group.
Yeah,
it's just one of any number of reasons why you and X a number of friends get together on the computer and click on heads.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. From there, we have.
Can't believe I was on Randy Pitchford's side of that fucking story, Jeff.
Well, he was a little bit more cogent than normal. I have some issues with what he said, but he was talking about things he was a little bit less douchey than he normally comes off. Just talking about the thing that he likes the most.
He did use art speak. He's lucky I've got a fine art speak.
Let's see. In other RNG loot dropping news, things continue to go bad for Destiny 2. So apparently in the last Destiny 2 update that released in July of this year, they put out this new currency called unstable cores that were made for upgrading past the seasonal cap. Like, you can continue to do upgrades to equipment past that point for even more power moving on. Apparently this has become a problem because the amount of these cores that you need to get in order to do this stuff is so unbelievably high that no one is engaging with it, because the time that you would have to spend to do this sort of thing is so huge that people are already looking for reasons to go play Borderlands 4, right? So they have announced that they're going to, as of the next release, Destiny 2 Renegades on December 2nd, they're taking that system out and rebalancing the economy, deprecating the currency, changing the upgrades to the current currency that's in the game, enhancement cores and glimmer. And they're also giving everybody a one-time reward of 777,777 unstable cores in their catch-up chest, and then reducing the amount of cores necessary to do the upgrades as a way to keep people engaged until that big update happens in December. So,
okay. Yeah. There we go. We have a change. We have a solution.
Yes.
We're going to roll it back, and it's not going to be a big deal, and no one is going to lose their friggin' minds.
I don't know. Destiny seems to be on a real losing streak right now. Destiny 2 seems to just be kind of doing bad thing after bad thing. Like, last week, I think they rolled back. They were going to do progression resets at the beginning of the next season, and everybody got real upset about that, so they decided, nah, just kidding, we're not going to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder if people still have any real interest in Destiny 2, because I don't hear much about it outside of Outrage these days. So
I mean, again, it's a dedicated core. It got out to a lot of people. There are plenty of free to play ventricles of it. So I'm sure that's got a base, but also it's an especially delicate dance. You really have to listen to these people,
yeah,
because they're the ones that you're asking to spend their time with.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I'll tell you something that nobody's spending their times with. That's Mind's Eye, the game that came out earlier this year. Apparently, a bunch of the developers that were let go by the Mind's Eye developer, Build a Rocket Boy, in their British studio, are lodging like a formal union complaint about the overall treatment at the studio. I don't think that we've gotten a lot of this. I don't think that we got a lot of details about this. Like, the game came out, the guy that ran the studio had said this was all due to outside sabotage of our great game.
Sure.
They laid off,
blaming it on Take-Two's PR agents.
Yes. They laid off a bunch of folks, and apparently there was a lot of they kind of lodged this complaint through the IWGB Game Workers Union, talking about how there was just kind of a litany of the stuff that you normally expect from this sort of thing. The first thing was, apparently they had a lot of people with a lot of experience in the game industry that were continually saying during the development, like, hey, this isn't going to be fun, we should do this instead of this. And then it was always kind of at the behest of the head of the studio that, no, we're going to do it my way and it's going to be fine. There was another part where they talked about how for months leading up to the launch they were doing mandatory overtime, but then it looks like it was being from what I can tell in the statement, that instead of actually paying them overtime, it was basically what they call time off in lieu that they were accruing instead. So basically paid time off.
You were building a PTO
right
with the overtime.
But then as soon as the game launched and it was a disaster, like they then made everybody come back in and do mandatory overtime, continue mandatory overtime to try to fix things post-launch. So it's like not like anybody could ever use it. And then a lot of these people were then just let go at the end of it. Apparently also there was something about the way that people were laid off that was in violation of the way they're normally supposed to do things in Britain.
A lot of just looks like mistakes and just like incorrect periods of time given to folks. Just,
there's one here.
It really seems like they're trying to hit it, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I wonder about this one that was like put in the wrong teams so that their performances were scored by the wrong people. I guess people were moved to teams that had with no information about what they had already done, and then they had very low evaluation scores because they were just been put on a different team or something like that. But yeah, they're demanding a public apology and an option for some of the people to come back and changes internally to get in line with the way that the trade union operates. And commitment to do better in the future. So
good luck. Good luck.
I have a feeling that this company is not long for the world anyway. I mean,
boy, no.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I mean, it probably can stand up as long as the Benz wants it to.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ben. Yeah, this is Benzie. Like it probably he could stand it up for as long as he wants to, or potentially shut it down and stand up a new office at this point. Like I imagine he's got enough money to try a couple of bites at the apple, even if they actually blow up and are capital F failures.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. It was funny because I was actually kind of excited about that game before it came out. I was like, I thought I had the potential that it could be good. I would watch the trailers and go like, I don't know, this seems like it could be good, but yeah,
they're charging full freight for it. It seems like it's going to be a thing, and then it looks sloppy, messy.
Yep. Let's see. We also got the news that Hyperlight Breaker is going to be kind of sunset in not too long. It went into early access this year and wasn't very well received. They've kind of been working on it. Apparently it's gotten a little bit better, but it still is not super great. And so they're basically kind of wrapping up enough work on it to take it out of early access. And then that team is kind of, they're already saying that a lot of people on the team are going to be let go, and then some of them are going to be rolled back in to work on whatever that Metroidvania game is they're making that looks good. But yeah,
sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yep. Possessors, which actually looks really good. But yeah, I don't know. I find it. I was only like kind of liked Hyperlight Drifter. I thought it was a little bit hard for what it was. So, and I haven't liked anything that Heart Machine has put out since then. So,
yeah, I never. Hyperlight Drifter sat next to like Bastion of like, these are games that I'm sure are good and I'll play like a minute of them and they're fine, but they're not super my speed.
Yeah.
But it's a shame, especially just because like the loss of talent at the studio means like, oh, maybe they can't really do much for Possessors either. Oh, like that's, small teams cuts, they can be kind of for lots of reasons.
Yeah. Yep.
Or team.
Let's see. We also got the news that there's been some shakeups at the team. Cloud Chamber Games over at 2K, which is doing the new BioShock game that's kind of been in development hell for quite a while. The current lead is being let go. The strange thing is that they're bringing in Rod Ferguson, who was the guy that they brought in to finish Infinite and shove it out the door after Ken Levine and company were screwing around with it for like 6 years. So he was the closer that they brought in to basically say, okay, we got to put out a game in like a year. So let's get to it.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. He also was the guy that went to, after BioShock Infinite, I think he had his own company, and then he went to Blizzard to get Diablo 4 finished, because that was in development hell for a long time. So I looked up his
ships.
Yeah, I looked up his list of games, and I was like, oh, you're the guy that they used to get this shit out the door, like Gears 5 and BioShock Infinite.
Diablo remake, the Diablo 2 remakes. God, remember how fucking like horrible that seemed to be, and then those guys whipped it up into something good.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Gears 3 Infinity Blade.
Oh, that's right. He was at Epic. He was at Epic. He was at Epic during the development of the original Gears of War. Yeah, and then he left and he went to 2K to finish up BioShock Infinite, and then he came back to Epic to do Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 5, and then he went to Blizzard to do Diablo 2 and Diablo Immortal and Diablo 4 and shove all those out the door, and now he's back at 2K to shove out yet another BioShock. I was just thinking about how strange this guy's career
I'm gonna salute you.
must have been. Like, he's just got like 3 companies on speed dial, like Epic, Blizzard, and 2K. And they're just like, Rod, are you done with the new BioShock? We need you
I got the Benz and I need the Ferg.
that Gears of War prequel is having problems, Rod. You got to get back over here and get it out.
Rod. Oh my gosh. Well, that's interesting.
Yep. Also, there were some other layoffs in there. Just some general. Sorry.
What else is going on in the world today?
Let's see. 2K has come out and said this is another big, like, kind of shakeup. So 2K announced this third-person extraction roguelike online shooter called Project Ethos that looks for all the world like freaking like a Fortnite kind of game, mixed with Fortnite cards, mixed with extraction shooter. It's just basically the Mad Libs of all the things that executives seem like they're into right now. They announced it a little while back, and we haven't heard very much about it since then. So this week, 2K came out and basically said, like, we're still making this. And they I believe they swapped out the director on that. Yeah, Ben Brinkman is going to be taking over as studio head of 31st Union later this month, and is going to be. It sounds like this game is a mess. Like, it's got the from the statement, it's like, it's going to be reimagined with a renewed vision. It's like, oh, that means it's garbage right now. In fact, I think there was a story not too long ago where, oh no, that was for BioShock, where they showed it to the higher ups and they were very unimpressed. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Glad to know that this game I did not know is bad and needs to be fixed. This is fabulous leadership.
Yes.
Over at 2K.
Yes.
Thanks to them.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, how about a weird one? I got a weird one over here.
Thank you.
Got a weird one.
Needed to get weird.
Okay, you know Quantic Dream? Like,
David Cage.
David Cage and his studio full of like weird storytelling things.
I put myself in every video game.
They're making a 3v3 online PvP multiplayer game? Question mark? Yeah.
Okay. Why? What is it? I guess. No. Okay. All right.
It's called Spellcasters Chronicles, which is the most generic name I've ever heard in my entire life.
That sounds like 4 games that have come out this year.
Mm-hmm. The trailer for it looks, I mean, a lot like an online video game, like a kind of a Dota-esque, MOBA-esque kind of.
It does look a lot like League of Legends.
Yeah, like you've got little guys. Apparently, everybody gets to fly around, and there's like a summoning thing where you can summon different types of units, and then they got the units, and you've got the heroes.
Is this a MOBA?
I think it is.
God.
But I can't for the life of me. Well, no, actually, that's not true.
3v3 action strategy game.
I can, for the life of me, understand what's happening here. Quantic Dream looked at the profits off of the games they were making and went, we need to get a piece of that online multiplayer skins and microtransaction action.
When it seemed like their status as like a Sony second-party studio kind of wrapped up once they did all those PC versions.
Yeah.
And so I can totally see that they ran out of, hookers and blow money.
I decided to.
We have to make a game that makes money? Fuck.
we have to make some of that hookers and blow money. I don't know, online game where that we can sell skins for that.
Kind of a shame that, because I think David Cage is no longer at Quantic Dream, or I think they put him into a pen because he had those things. But it kind of is a bummer that they couldn't. That there wasn't the talent at that studio to go into another narrative game, even if it was smaller, even if it was scaled into a different direction. That they couldn't say we're gonna do, instead of making this very generic but very kind of colorful fucking.
This reminds me. What's that name? What's that game? Was it called Gigantic? The one that had the big owl in it. It was like a Gigantic. I don't know if that's going to get me what I'm looking for. Yeah, that game.
Okay.
It's like it was a MOBA. It was like a third-person MOBA with these giant creatures that came out a little while back. I get a lot of Gigantic vibes off of that current thing, mostly because it's just, it's a bunch of characters I've never seen before, and they're all designed like they're in a MOBA. They all have very specific like traits.
Sure.
That
here's
make
the girl
them stand
with the
out.
purple hair and,
right.
and a shaved head side.
Yeah.
Here's a beast that kind of looks like a Yeti.
Yeah.
Here's a robot guy.
But no, I mean, to bounce back to what you were saying, they are still working on a Star Wars game. They have this Star Wars Eclipse that was announced a little while back that apparently they are still working on. You think they put that on hold to get this out, to get the money, to get the hookers and blow money, to get the blow they needed to finish the Star Wars game?
Star Wars money, they would just be doing Star Wars. They're not working on that.
You don't think so?
I think Star Wars has collapsed. I think Quantic Dream would love to make this video game. I think Star Wars collapsed. I think the money behind Star Wars has kind of shrunk a little bit on the Disney side.
You think the infinite money faucet for Star Wars shit is...
Look at these screenshots. They're not making this video game.
No, you don't think so?
It's never coming out. You're never going to see this motherfucker. Do you see the thing that they just put out, Jeff?
I do.
You saw the MOBA?
I do. I did. I saw the MOBA.
They're not making this video game.
They're not making that game.
Maybe it's a different Quantic Dream. Are there two Quantic Dreams?
This one has two M's on the end of it. It's like a phishing scam, or you get an email from Quantic Dream. You're
Quantic Dream.
Wait a minute. Yeah, but so weird. I just saw this come out. I was like, who? What? Why? Like, first off, this style of game doesn't make money anymore at all. It's going to be $60 at launch and marked down 2 months after that, and free to play before 6 months is up, and then
it will probably launch free to play. My guess is,
think it's going to launch free to play.
If they've got someone at that studio with a brain, and maybe they don't anymore, it would just launch free to play, and they would just
skip the whole rigmarole of low sales. Skip the Concord part where they launch and it doesn't work before you go free to play.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of online games, we also have the news that Helldivers 2 is apparently going to be putting the kind of new content updates on hold for a little while, because apparently the game has some pretty big performance issues that are kind of structural, that have been exacerbated by just continuing to add stuff in the player base and things like that. So they're apparently being really upfront, saying we got to go back and basically fix the underlying code to make sure that the game is going to run well into the future, as opposed to just doing small patches or losing a little bit of performance here and there moving forward.
That's pretty cool.
Which is great.
This reminds me of there was a speed run I saw. I don't think it was at like a Games Done Quick thing, but it was playing Crash Team Racing, the PlayStation kart game, during the load times of the Crash Team Racing remaster. Because I guess in remaster, they built that game so that every load loads everything in the game. But as they've added DLC and new characters and stuff, that load time grew and grew and grew and grew. And so every load screen is like minutes long.
Oh my goodness.
Like the end of they managed to fit in, it's closer than you would think. And so that kind of stuff adds up. Like no one kind of expected that. If you're a casual player, maybe you would notice the load times, or you would just complain about them and get over with it.
Yeah.
But this stuff adds up. And for as much as they've said that they want Helldivers 2 to continue to be the thing that they support and keep telling their story in, they have to do this one at some point. And they've had a lot of updates. They put out a lot of content lately.
Yep.
There's a lot of cosmetics and upgrades and battle passes, or what are they called? Contracts?
Oh, yeah. I forget.
Bonds,
like
war
orders.
bonds.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. It has been pretty impressive as for the amount of time this game has been out. The number of things that just keep happening as you just keep getting more and more and more. And then I guess they have the Xbox launch as well, which probably bought them a little bit of time to basically do some of this. So yeah, it's just nice to see. It's nice to see one of these online companies basically come out and be very upfront about just what's going on, so you don't have to guess. Let's see. We also got. Speaking of Xbox, Outer Worlds 2. I thought this was kind of an interesting story. Apparently, during the Outer Worlds 2 development, Obsidian was like, people aren't going to care that this game doesn't have a third-person mode, right? And apparently, they did a lot of kind of internal hemming and hawing and looking around, and found out that, like, yes, people really want to be able to cut to a third-person view in these kind of Bethesda-style action RPG style games, which you couldn't do in the first one. And so they decided that they wanted to add that in, but of course that requires you to basically create a whole new character with animations and things that you can see from externally.
Sure.
And they decided to bring in like a third-party company in order to do that. So they hired I forget what the exact company was, but it was a company I know that worked on a few other things that I thought were kind of
it looks like Disruptive.
Oh, okay. Disruptive Games. Yeah, that and then they came in and did that. Oh, yeah, they worked on Diablo 2 Resurrected, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Is this Rod? Rod, is that you?
Godfall. Like, they seem like one of those good support studios. I don't even know if this was like... Godfall was... That was...
2K?
Was that 2K?
And
Gearbox?
Gearbox, I believe.
Yeah.
Or no, that was the MOBA. Godfall was 2K. I think Gearbox published them, maybe?
Full 2K?
We're going down a rabbit hole, Jeff.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, all that is to say that Outer Worlds 2 is going to have a third-person option, which is cool. I'm really excited for Outer Worlds 2. I loved the first one, and I can't wait for the second one. It's right around the corner. So,
yeah, it took me a second bite at Outer Worlds to get into it, and yeah.
It's one of the few games out there that I have a really good like story for, and that I made a real flim-flam character and managed to talk my way all the way to the end of the game. And then I got to the last boss and didn't have enough charisma, and it turns out that if you drink booze in that game, you get more charisma. So I just had to reload my save and get wasted, and then I was able to get the last boss in the game to just give up and leave.
That's immersive RPG action.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Let's see. We got also a couple of screenshots. This is of Everwild. This is the canceled Rare game that was it was in development at Microsoft for a little while.
I was gonna say they're not gonna make that game. That game's not gonna come out. But, no, you're right.
Yeah, it's funny because I looked at these screenshots and they all appeared to be very plant based. Like it's just inventories full of mushrooms and plants and like walking around in a forest type of thing. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Is that what the game is about? Is it an explorer? I'll play a game where you're in a forest and picking up berries and exploring.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is one of those.
Some of the shit that I've been playing lately, Jeff. I'll play that.
I have. You come over to my house and you tell me what you've been playing, and I'm like, what? How did you even find that? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Gotta play that Chinese game, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It does look kind of like Zelda Breath of the Wildy with the interface, but
yeah, this is also one of those things where one of the developers put it on their LinkedIn page, on their resume or whatever. So it could have been that this person was in charge of the plant interface, and I'm just missing all of the action that was in somebody else's portfolio.
I was the lead fungus artist.
Yep. Let's see. I guess, so we got a few more here. Capcom is apparently reconsidering price adjustments for the Capcom Cup 12. So next year's online kind of Street Fighter finals, they announced are going to be pay-per-view starting next year. They currently are and have been free to play for a while. And moving forward, they were going to want $40 to watch the weekend, 2 days.
Weekend, 2 days, $40.
Yes.
This is going to be. Would it be ad free? Like that would be my question is like, would it be like ad free and there wouldn't be like fucking Gillette Chick robots around and stopping and having an Amazon AWST break between rounds? Like I've been considering going and seeing the Gran Turismo World thing coming up in Los Angeles because it's like, I don't know, like a $30 or $40 ticket. Like that's a very doable sporting event. I could see someone who's into Street Fighter paying this to get a good stream that doesn't have a bunch of weird bad ads. But I don't know if my expectation meets what the product actually is.
It's really jumping from no cost to $40 right away. Like I think when this originally came out, I was like, maybe you guys start with like $10 and a free skin in Street Fighter 6, and the next year it's like 15, and then the year after, 2 years later, it's like 25, as opposed to going right from zero to cost of an entire battle pass or DLC, or in some cases on a sale, Street Fighter 6. But apparently, they're looking at it and they're, kind of deciding whether or not to roll it back. But it's kind of under consideration, given that there was a huge outcry. And kind of like with the Destiny story, you want to keep the people that are really invested in Street Fighter from having a bad time with Street Fighter. So
this is. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what the adjustment here is, because this seems like just this seems fixable.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like a miss, but it's a fixable one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. From there, we have... this is an interesting story from GOG. So GOG has their, I forget what they call it, the forever titles or whatever they call them.
They have like
preserved.
A preservation pop.
Yeah. And apparently, when they go, they talk to the developers to try to get the rights to be able to kind of put this stuff up forever as a way of doing game preservation and as a service to their customers. They recently put up Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, where they set them to basically work on PCs, and they put them in this program. There was apparently a backstory to this where they went to Capcom, and the higher-ups at Capcom were very confused. They were like, well, there are remakes of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Why would anybody want to play the originals? Why wouldn't they just play the remakes? And apparently the guys at GOG had to kind of explain to them that there are people who want to go back to the original versions for nostalgia's sake and for other reasons. But apparently it was just completely incomprehensible to them that anybody would want to go back and play the PSX version of Resident Evil 3 when there was a RE3 remake out there for them to go to. So,
I can see I see it from the other side, though, of this is our story. These are our games. We would like to tell you what the optimal way to play them is in this year. And also, I think if you're doing preservation efforts, I think it's also okay to. I think everyone is a winner here. I think everyone can get a winner. I see both sides to it. because there's also there's for GOG there is a monetary benefit to making these games preserved and to making them last for a long time. They have a direct profit incentive to make sure that Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 in these original formats continues to be a legendary experience worth remembering in this specific format.
Yeah.
And that is a slightly perverse reason to do something like that. Not to say that it's wrong, not to say that it's not a system that can continue to make the efforts of preservation spread throughout the world. Just everyone's got a plan.
Sure.
Idea.
Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of game preservation, we got the news last week that the Crew 2 got updated to include a hybrid mode, which is an offline mode that apparently you can play. It's completely separated from the online mode, and apparently you can export your online progress into the offline mode, but you can't go in the other direction. Of course, any online stuff, purchases, custom cars, anything apparently that is in the online mode will not be in the offline mode. So it's a little bare bones, right? The idea that there's no synchronization of progress. You can only basically overwrite the offline mode with your progress of the online mode.
They're going to turn the online mode off in this game.
Right.
They're just going to do it. Sorry. They're going to turn those servers off now or later.
Yeah. So, it's not ideal, but it is leagues better than what happened with the Crew 1. So it's at least a step in the right direction.
Especially for everyone who bought this game for actually 99 cents.
Yes.
I'm sorry that the game that you bought for 99 cents on a crazy discount because it was 99 cents had a shelf life of 4 months and they gave you a good offline mode.
Sure. Yeah. So, good news.
There you go. Good news. I managed to yell out.
The director on the Splinter Cell Netflix show apparently tried to was talking to the people at Ubisoft and tried to oh wait, this is a different story. Sorry. Different story. Pandora Tomorrow. Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow is now on Steam. It was the middle game in the franchise. It was I think it was 1, 2, 3, it might have been 4, and then there was 5 and 6. Strangely, it was not on Steam. It was not even on Uplay. It was not anywhere to get.
So this is not a remake. This is the game.
This is the game. Yeah,
the game as it was originally intended.
Yes, it's in 4x.
Sack of shit. Good old games.
It's in 4x3. It's not up-resed. It's just the release of Pandora Tomorrow, and it still has Uplay on it as well, which Steam people don't incredibly like. But yeah, it was weird because I loaded up Steam last week and I was like, "What? Why?" And it's, I think, because the anime came out or because the animated show came out. So
there you go.
Yep. Let's see.
Speaking of the show.
Yeah. Splinter Cell Deathwatch has already been picked up for a second season. It's happened basically, I don't know, Netflix does this all the time. Bryce, you might know more about this than I do. The first season will drop and then 6 hours later, they're like, it's been approved for season 2. As long as it comes out and doesn't immediately, I guess, fail.
Yeah, it kind of depends. I don't keep up with it as tightly as I used to. Because in the earlier days of Netflix original programming, they would throw a lot of money at it so that the creators were kind of assured they would get the actors that they wanted and they would get at least a couple of seasons. So
yeah,
Netflix is kind of setting is kind of it's a big boy here. So I think they know how well these Ubisoft franchise shows do. Mm-hmm. I think they probably had a good sense going into it how good this would be.
Okay.
Well, it would,
yeah. And it kind of ended with a little bit of a if it ended there, it was okay, but there's enough room to basically pick it up for more. So, speaking of second seasons, there's going to be a second Minecraft movie. In a surprise to absolutely no one. First Minecraft movie made a gajillion dollars. Of course, they're going to be making a second Minecraft movie. So, not exactly a shocker.
Chicken jockey.
Yep. And last but not least, Mortal Kombat 3 is also apparently in the works, even though Mortal Kombat 2 is not out yet. The writers for
the 3 film.
Yes, the writers for Mortal Kombat 2 said that they are already working on a script for Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh,
so
script? Fuck you. Scripts are free. That doesn't mean shit. Tell me when you got a development deal, bud.
Fair enough. I'm still mad that they pushed that Mortal Kombat 2 movie out to next year because I thought it actually looked pretty good, and I wanted to watch it. So,
well, maybe what is it? Did they move it to the winter or something?
It was supposed to come out in October, and now it's May of next year. It's not like they moved it from October to like January. They moved it like way into next year. So
maybe they're tooling with it. These high CG things, they tool around with these a lot. They tool around with the superhero adjacent stuff a lot. They could be fixing this.
Possibly. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We got a bunch of trailers left to look at, so make sure to stick around. We'll be back in just a second. And we are back for part 3. That means a boatload of trailers. I actually was telling you, Bryce, in the when we went on break there, that there was a big IGN thing this week that had a whole bunch of trailers. It was like 3 hours long with like a pre-show. Yeah, it was their fan fest. It had a whole bunch of like movie things and game things. I was going to put it at the front of this, but there were only a couple of trailers that were any good, and you're going to see them kind of peppered throughout this throughout the trailers that we have here because there weren't enough to
do better, IGN,
hang a whole thing on. Let's see, we're going to start with a couple of Outer Worlds 2 trailers. These are the kind of comedy trailers that they have with Ben Schwartz in them as the like quote unquote head of sequels at Obsidian. I really enjoyed, I think it was during Summer Games Fest, they had the little skit with him where he was talking to people and he was like just kind of being this kind of asshole jerk in Obsidian, putting things in the game. This
kind of like his John Ralphio character.
Yeah, a lot like that. In this one, he's actually joined by Mark Evan Jackson, who people might know as Sean from The Good Place, or Captain Holt's husband in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And he's like running a focus group, and Ben Schwartz comes in and basically manhandles them into saying good things about the game no matter what they think. I really enjoyed this because he's like, yeah, let's show you the live action trailer that we made for Outer Worlds 2. And the focus group is like, why do you guys even make live action trailers? They don't show us what the gameplay is like. They have to cost like a lot of money, and like we don't even really like them very much. And then he's like, what, you just want to see gameplay? And then he puts on gameplay, and it was all really funny. So that's a nice little skit. I'm glad to see that they did more of this.
That might be the last funny thing Microsoft ever makes.
It makes me mad for one reason, and that is that it was like 2 Game Awards ago when they had an announcement for Skate. They made a trailer with Tim Robinson or whatever from I think you should leave.
Okay.
As like the head of the fictional corporation that's in the Skate universe, and he was doing a whole bit about Skate, and I've never seen any more about that. I wanted to see more of him because I thought it was really funny.
He's moving on to bigger things.
That's true. He's got the HBO show and everything. So actually there were 2 of these. So there was a second one where it was just like listing out features in the game and then asking people to evaluate them, but there's only just one button on their iPads that says it's amazing and I love it, and so everybody kind of just taps on it. But anyway, I think it's really funny. I think we should go watch these. As a visual thing, it doesn't do a whole lot, but I think they're great.
Schwartz.
So
I love him. That's my Sonic.
Let's see. From there, this was one of the IGN ones we had, which was the is a gameplay reveal for Directive 8020, which is that game, that sci-fi horror game that Supermassive is making that was supposed to come out this year, but isn't. It's got real big like Alien meets The Thing meets Solaris vibes, where there's like imposters and you're on like a ship. It's claustrophobic and it's weird. Unfortunately, this is one of the trailers from that IGN Fest, and it's like 45 seconds long, and it's just wandering through vents. Like,
Oh.
that's all it is. And at the end, you see like a silhouette kind of come towards a character from down an event, and then it says Directive 8020.
Okay. It's a teaser.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I mean, this game was supposed to come out this year, and they pushed it back to next year. And I'm really... I was really excited for it, so I was kind of disappointed. But I do think this is kind of interesting, though, as far as a Supermassive game goes, that has like what looks like some more traditional gameplay elements of different movement styles. There's like little interact buttons and stuff.
Yeah, stuff that doesn't look like the narrative sort of games that they make. But they also do those games are also like half horror games.
Yeah.
So it's probably not much of a stretch for them to I don't know, have weapons you can use on the enemies you have to hide in closets from.
Yeah. I guess I just didn't see a single QuickTime event in this entire thing, and I was impressed by that. So
only 40 seconds.
It's only 40 seconds. Let's see. We got a bunch of other spooky games. The Outlast Trials during this IGN thing announced this new mode in the game called Invasion.
Now, are people playing this game? You keep talking about this. Are people playing this game?
I believe they are. I mean, I don't know if it's a lot of people, but I think it's some people. They're still in business. They're making expansions. So, yeah, you and I played this when it came out, right? We did
like a bonus or something.
I think we just did I think it was straight on Dojos. I think we did a whole two-parter on this one, but
it's like a Saw meets like Manhunt style game. But then it's also like a multiplayer.
It's like PvE
like a battle
sort of thing where you're going up against these like psycho killers in this weird Saw like research facility that's run by the Outlast Corporation. They're adding in a kind of Dead by Daylight mode where some people it's like a adversarial multiplayer mode where some people play as doppelgangers of the other players. They have a whole like explanation video of how it works that I watched where you're in like a closet, you get to come out for a certain amount of time. At certain points you have to go back to the closet. When you're in the closet, you can look through cameras and see people. You're supposed to
joking about hiding in closets.
Nope, it's totally that. You have to hunt people down, but then also they said that you're not like immune from attack from the monsters that are in here, which makes it sound really difficult, but
maybe you hide a little better, right? Maybe you don't stink as much.
Yeah, it's possible. But yeah,
people are playing this game.
I think so. I think they are. I don't know what.
I guess if they're not making more Outlast games, then they'll just keep playing this stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. I was just gonna see if I could look up the Steam concurrent player count for the Outlast Trials. I don't know. This seems like a good mode, though, right? They're trying to cash in on the Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, trying to do the asymmetrical multiplayer, hunt or be the hunted. Sure.
Yeah,
what are we looking at?
Few thousand
right now.
Few thousand people a day. Like, not it isn't. It's probably enough to keep it going. But enough to keep it going. So
yeah.
Yep.
And
so
it's
yes,
like a free update, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. That's crab apples.
Give it a try. Give it a shot.
There you go.
We have a bunch of horror games this week. There's another called the Oversight Bureau. It's kind of like a creepy corporation thing. Real big control vibes, but this is you do everything by talking to the game. So everything in here is like you talking to people through a phone, robots, like answering questions on a psych evaluation with real
does like voice recognition.
Yeah, all through the microphone on your PC.
To your devices. I typed out a voice message in Slack the other day, and it made me realize I never like doing this.
Yeah,
I never know what I want to type until I type it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I'm not the biggest fan of this, but I
don't want to talk to my phone. I don't want to talk to my devices. I used the text Siri on my laptop the other day, and it stopped what I was listening to so the Siri voice could answer me this thing I wanted to be textual. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really torn because I really like the look of this game. Like, I really like the kind of control style, brutalist kind of 70s, office building kind of thing. But yes, I am with you where I'm not especially keen.
God, they've got a fucking security camera puzzle with a drone guy.
That little robot, little Robbie the robot. You got to tell him to go do stuff.
This better work perfectly.
Yeah, at least as near as I can tell, I don't think it's AI. That was the thing I was curious about when I first saw it, was whether it was going to be run through like a GPT backend or something.
Yeah, I'll say like voice recognition technology in general has gotten very good. I use that is primarily the thing that I will use AI for, is for transcriptions, and that stuff has gotten pretty solid in terms of recognizing what people are saying. There have been a couple of good leap forwards with that stuff. In real time, that stuff's probably here. I just don't want to. I don't want to do Lifeline.
I don't want to play Lifeline. I never did, and I still don't.
I will watch people play Lifeline, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, okay. What about shark dentistry? How do you feel about shark dentistry?
Isn't this out?
Nope. They put out like a cinematic reveal trailer, and then at the IGN Fan Fest, they actually put out some gameplay of actually doing the shark dentistry. Apparently, this is also like a roguelike, where it just kind of, you just getting different sharks and new sharks and different scenarios just over and over and over again.
This looks weird. This trailer that they put together is a weird one. All right. Whatever. Like, the roguelike is becoming overused.
Yeah.
It is being overused and is being used as like an excuse to extend gameplay. This should be like a 30-minute thing that I pay 5 minutes for. And then we're done.
Yeah.
I don't know what this thing.
You don't know what the shark, what the whole shark dentist thing.
Why are you looking? Why did the power go out? Why is this now like a fucking Slender Man look for the notebook pages game?
I don't know. I don't know why the shark dentist is working out of like the place where they made Jack Nicholson into the Joker in Batman, or why this shark is very much just like conscious for some reason.
This feels like content creator slop.
Yeah.
This feels a little like content creator slop.
Well, you bet your ass I'm going to be playing it. I want to see what happens in the Shark Dentist game. So,
the pus. Okay, it's definitely not from.
And then you do the Shark Dentist, and they bring in a new shark when you get done with the old shark.
It's
so,
hammerhead.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, well, how about working at a diner? We got a lot of horror jobs today. This is Creepy Shift Roadside Diner. Says it's based on a creepypasta. I don't know what that means.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Where it looks like another one of these like chore simulators. You're working at a diner. You're working the night shift at a diner, like cleaning up and restocking and doing stuff. But then there's some kind of weird. There's like
something chases you and you have to hide in the closet.
There's just like a creepy lady for some reason. I don't know who the lady is, but by the end of the trailer, she's very large. She turns a very large lady chasing you around. I don't know. I was kind of into it before there was just a big lady chasing you around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They refuse to make diner dash games that are not horror games. God forbid we get Peggle 3 or 4 without it having a horror, like you play it, but your virus actually has a Peggle virus.
You have to go into a creepy room, and then you zoom in on the Peggle, and then you play it. But then there's like a creaks behind you, and you've got to turn around and look and see.
The balls are coming after you, and you gotta run.
That's right.
You have to hide in a closet.
There you go. Boom. Done. You're going to make a lot of money. Okay, well, how about something that looks actually pretty good? Silly Polly Beast. I have not heard of this game before, but then I watched this, and it seems to be kind of a combination of a lot of different types of games. Like, it seems like a third-person kind of adventure game. There's some side-scrolling stuff. There's some kind of top-down stuff. It appears to be very surrealistic, where you're playing as this lady with, like, a skateboard There's like some action sequences where you're shooting, you're kind of bashing down on dudes what are coming for you.
What the hell?
I don't know.
This game?
I don't know. It's a good question. I watched this trailer and I was like, "There's
What
like
the fuck?
There's
It's
like
a twin stick.
5 different games in here. Here's some twin stick. Here's like a platforming challenge. Here's a side scroller. Here's like narrative things. I like the imagery of it. Like I like what I'm seeing. I like the fact that it looks like there's a lot of kind of weird and different creative gameplay. Almost like they're using the kind of simple engine to just move the camera into different configurations to create different styles of gameplay.
Kind of like the original Nier.
Yeah.
Where you just like had there was that visual novel that we did the video for the other day that like boasted how it has 5 mode chapters.
Yes.
Chapters are modes.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were like 5 different visual novels, like slightly different visual novels.
No,
so
did you play more of that? No,
I didn't. No. Okay. Well, I don't know. This one seems pretty cool to me, though. I like the art style. I like the way that it looks. I hadn't really heard of it before, but it's coming out on October 28th.
What a name!
Yeah. It probably needs a slightly better name.
Also, cross-gen PS4 and PS5.
Yep.
That's an interesting trend. I was not surprised to see.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's still coming out PS4 and PS5 just because they haven't sold enough PS5s for it to be, or there's still a huge install base of PS4.
A lot of PS4s out there, yeah.
And there's nothing about this game that screams like it's got to be on a super ramped up system. So
it is a good thing. It is a good thing. If this is a form of forward compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also have a trailer for No Vacation for an Executioner, which this is another very bizarre semi-horror. Kind of looks like a medieval zombie game, but there's a lot of like weird dudes and ladies and stuff in here. There's a lot of like strange monster designs and bizarre like snippets of dialogue.
What would you say this visual aesthetic is? It's kind of comic book noir inking.
Yeah, monochrome.
Kind of a Mad World.
DC. Yeah, Mad World's a good good
like
comparison.
Chainsaw Lollipop Cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like some kind of third-person action game. I think their trailer they uploaded is broken, though, because they have this part at the end where this lady comes up, and it looks really bad, and also doesn't have any audio when you listen to the trailer. So I'm pretty sure this is another one of those, indie titles being made by a very small team. But I at least appreciate how bizarre it is. I like a good, strange game. So
I don't like the idea that this is considered retro-styled.
Yeah?
What part of this is supposed to be retro?
It's kind of slightly lower resolution. Looks like it might be like I could see this being like, I could see them saying that this is like PS2 style and that it's slightly lower resolution models.
It kind of looks PS3.
Like
that's what I'm getting at. If you're telling me that Travis Touchdown is retro, are you telling me Killer is Dead is retro?
Yes. Yes.
No.
I'm saying that was 2 generations ago.
No.
Yes. I'm saying anything on the GameCube is now classic rock. Yes.
Oh, my God.
It'll happen to all of you, too, one day. You'll be like, oh, we're doing retro PS5 games, just like they used to do back in the 2020s.
Remember Skibbity Toilet?
Yep.
It's back.
It's back.
We're VR. Speaking of.
Yes. Speaking of retro styling, House of the Dead 2 remake has a release date. I think the first one of these came out and it was really poorly received. It did, though, get me to look up if there's like light guns that you can still buy for games like this, as opposed to using a mouse.
I think it's, I want to say it's mouse, or they do tablet. I think a lot of the OSU players will use tablets, like large touch tablets to do stuff like that.
I think I did find there's apparently 2 different light guns that you can get that are like PC compatible. Light guns, but they're like it's like $170 for the base one, and then
do they even work with the fucking game?
Probably. I think they're probably made to universally work with any mouse game. And then it's like there's another one that's even more expensive that has rumble in it. And then if you want to get the pedal for the ground, they sell those for like $270. I was like, damn, man.
Use the button. Use the button.
I don't want to spend $500 on House of the Dead 2. I could probably buy the arcade cabinet for that amount of money.
Then you have to clean it.
That's true. Yeah, but February of next year. So, oh wait, no. That was when it originally came out. October 24th of this year. Sorry.
2000.
Yes. Let's see.
Neato.
We also got the launch trailer for Little Nightmares 3, a game that I played last week and hated so much that we didn't do a part 2 of it. So I didn't know, but apparently there's a whole saga to this where the original developer didn't want to make a third one, and so they went off and made that Reanimal game, and then Supermassive came in and made Little Nightmares 3, which is strangely a co-op game that doesn't have fucking local co-op. You can only play it online co-op. I bought this game and I busted out 2 controllers, and it was like, no, you can't. So,
does it? And so, does it have a free client for the other side, or do you have to buy 2 copies?
I believe it does have a free client for the other side, but I don't know why, you have these 2 characters and they have to work together to solve puzzles, and
I don't want you to cheat.
And I'm like, well, why can't I just plug in a second controller and then play with my friend who's on the couch over here?
Cheat.
So
it's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Little Nightmares is going to be one of those that I completely missed the train on.
Mm-hmm.
This does nothing for me.
I never understood the point of it in the first place. I thought I would give the third one a try because they did a big media push for it. And then the first 45 minutes they got to the point where they were actually boring. It was boring. The game was boring and we couldn't think of anything to say. And we were just like, okay, we're done. So, but it's out in case you want to do it for yourself. So
okay,
there you go. Yep. Let's see. We also got some for the spooky season. A bunch of those pinball games got a couple of Elvira tables, some of the classic Elvira tables. So Scared Stiff and Elvira and the Party Monsters were both added to those Zen pinball games. And I put this in here because I like Elvira, and I think it's fun to have Elvira pinball games. So
yeah, I'm surprised there were any pinball machines that those games didn't already have. Oh damn! She's like moving around and shit.
Oh yeah, they both of them. Yeah,
is this an original? Oh, okay.
Well, I think that these might be. I think these might be old tables, but that I think that they might have animated Elvira on the old tables.
She was sitting in a cauldron.
Yeah.
Look, she's okay. I guess there's some movable pieces.
Yeah, there's like a little version of her that blows kisses and stands up and shakes her chest around and stuff. I think that these were originally were old pinball tables that they then like just put her in. So,
okay.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, give it a shot. Let's see. Speaking of throwback stuff, we got another. This is part of that IGN Fan Fest, that Terminator 2D No Fate game. They had a little kind of featurette on it that I thought was interesting. So I don't know if you're familiar with this game, Bryce.
I'm not.
But this company made a very, very cool looking like 16-bit Terminator 2 video game that goes over the entire story, and they've translated it into just like what looks like a really good Super Nintendo game that you can play. That goes through the entire movie story. But they did an interesting thing where apparently they have a kind of an alt history mode where once you play the game, you can play back through it. And if you'll get like certain choice sections that you can make. So they show the part where the SWAT team is breaking into the building in the movie. And in the original mode, you play as Sarah Connor and you're trying to like not just blow everybody to Kingdom Come, but apparently in the if you play it a second time, there's like there's some choices you can make where you just go all out and it's like completely lethal and you're just going balls with the machine gun. The T800 is just out there with the minigun just like mowing down the cops. Yeah, they didn't go into details about that, but it's interesting to have that level of kind of different options and an incentive to go back and play through the game once it's all the way done. So
that's neat. This is a weird thing. This is on the level of like what was the demastered game that came out and was quite okay. The Mummy Demastered.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That seems like a nice little niche for some of these franchises as well. Mm-hmm. Make little GBA like side-scrolling gun games.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This is another one that got pushed back from this year to next year, and I was sad because I was really looking forward to playing it. So, but yep. Let's see. There is there was an Avatar game that's Avatar fighting game that's being made called Avatar Legends that was apparently canceled at one point, but is apparently back in production, and they put out a brand new trailer for it. Strangely, I had to look it up. The developer of this made Them's Fightin' Herds. Do you know about that?
No, is that a game? What is that?
It's a brony fighting game. It's a My Little Pony fighting game where they took the My Little Ponies and replaced them with different types of horses and llamas and things. It started out as like a fan game, and then they made it into a full game.
50 Shades.
It was like a Kickstarter. They also made this weird steampunk game, that fighting game that Michael and I played for Patreon a little while back. So they've got the chops. Both of those games were very fun to play, and it looks like they're. It looks like they put a lot of work into this because it's all like 2D animated, kind of in the style of the show.
Yeah, it looks really well animated.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess I wonder if there's still. I guess there are probably still people that are into Avatar enough to go back and play this.
Well, and it looks like both you have Aang and Korra.
Right.
Though it does look like mostly Last Airbender characters, but there's also Korra.
Yep. Also Korra. So. Okay. Yep.
There we go.
No release date yet, but it's or actually it says summer 2026. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let's see. Another fighting game news. We got a new character for the Invincible fighting game. Strangely enough, it's Cecil, one of the guys in the show that does not have powers. So the guy that works in the government. And they showed
the guy
off
with
a little
the face.
Yeah, the guy with the scar on his face. And he's got kind of a power set that involves a lot of like shooting guns and sending in like those dead guy robot dudes and things like that. Do you not watching Invincible?
Not really. I mean, I watched the first season. I'm just not caught up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have.
I'm surprised they're making this game.
And supposedly they have a lot of characters in it. Like they've had interviews with them that they said.
I feel like we've done a lot of episodes where I've seen a character reveal for this fucking game.
Yep.
Is it out?
Nope. They still got more to go. Yeah, this is from the New York Comic-Con stuff that they had out there. They had a little bit of a deep dive on that IGN thing I was talking about, but yeah. I don't know. It's a little weird in that, like, any one of these superpowered people, if they ever touch this guy, would just, like, obliterate him, but whatever.
I mean, he holds his own. That's part of his thing. Is it Billy Bob Thornton to do the voice? Does it sound like him?
Think so. It sounds like him, but I'm not good at picking out the voice actors. So it sounds like him and all the stuff that I heard. They didn't specifically say, but.
And it probably isn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of superhero stuff, we got this was in that IGN thing. We got the 1 week hype trailer for Dispatch, the narrative game that's being made by some ex-Telltale people, where you play as a superhero that has kind of fallen from glory, and now you're working for this company that sends out superheroes for hire, and you're sending them out from your dispatch table, and you're sending out specific heroes to specific jobs depending on what their stats are like. And then in between, it's all this really well animated stuff, and they've got all these voice actors in here to do stuff. Yep.
Really? Goddamn.
Aaron Paul's the main character. A bunch of YouTube people, like Moist Critical is one of the people in there.
Sure. What the? Okay.
Have you not seen this before?
No, I've not.
Okay. It's hard for me to remember when this stuff comes up. It also have Jeffrey Wright is in there as a character. We played the demo for it, and it seems like a really well-written game. It's got a lot of Critical Role people in it.
Yeah.
The moment-to-moment gameplay is just kind of, looking at a screen and sending guys, but they've got...
I play those games.
Yeah, it's very well written. It's very funny in all the trailers. So, cool. And then so
I completely. I mean, I'm not like a Critical Role person, so I guess if it's only in like that circle, but like this looks cool. Like the animation looks well done, even for nasty 3D CG.
Yeah,
big disgusting.
and I mean that was it's coming out in a week, so it's coming out this coming week.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that more creators are getting into game development.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's see. We also got a trailer for Mouse PI, another one, which I can't wait to come out. Can't wait for. This one's just kind of showing a little bit of the behind the scenes and how everything in it is hand animated to keep it with this kind of rubber look of a classic cartoon. This is another one that I've been really interested in over time because it just seems like they put a lot of work, a lot of love into it, and then all of the stuff that they're doing has come across like it looks very nice and cohesive when you see the whole thing.
Yeah, that looks interesting. It's weird because I feel like there are this kind of throwback animation style, obviously since Cuphead, but even in maybe the last 6 months, I've seen a lot of like, not knockoff, but other people's take on it.
Yeah.
And so I'm always cool to see when, traditional animation or animation techniques ultimately become a part of the story of the game. I mean, look, it's not just an aesthetic. That's part of the way the story is being told.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And they're doing a deeper dive on that on October 28th. I don't know if we have a full-on release date for Mouse PI yet, but it's getting pretty close. A lot closer than the first time I saw it. So we got the Overwatch seasonal content is coming out. This was really disappointing to me because this is supposed to be the Haunted Masquerade. I didn't see that many like costumes or anything. The big thing seems to be that they've got like little cardboard masks you can put on of other characters, but it's a little different in that those characters, you get like one of the powers from one of those other characters or some bonus based on the other character. So it's a way to kind of like hybridize some of the classes for this seasonal event. They're also adding a few people to one of the little arena modes.
I like that idea of like wearing a mask, and so then you actually get a power.
Yeah.
Like that actually seems like a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah. I wish I was at all familiar enough with Overwatch these days to be able to tell when they're showing the gameplay montage of which powers are different from the normal ones that the characters have. Yeah. They're also apparently bringing back they've got some rewards. I don't know. They didn't show any real big like costumes. Usually they used to have a big costume montage, but that didn't seem to be a focus this time. But they're also bringing back the One Punch Man cosmetics for a little while to coincide with the third season that everybody says is terrible. So
cool.
Yeah.
Come on, Jack. Cool.
Rematch has season 1 chapter 2 trailer came out. It looks like it's got a little bit of spooky theming to it.
They got crossplay. The game got crossplay.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Are you still checking that out from time to time? No. Okay. I couldn't really tell all that much of what was going on. They've got some new putting a number up at the screen emotes.
Yeah, some new goal emotes. Sure.
And then kind of a spooky skeleton outfit that you can get.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. They're making they've made a lot of content. They have a schedule of content that they're doing. Their battle pass is kind of gated at different midway points in the calendar. So everyone kind of can work up to one part of the battle pass at a time. So yeah, good for them. Rematch is a good game. I'll probably jump back onto it at some point.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, this was a strange one because the name of this trailer was 2 Point Museum X Vampire Survivors. And I was like, oh, I wonder what they're going to put into Vampire Survivors from 2 Point Museum. But I was reading that the wrong way around because they're putting a bunch of Vampire Survivors stuff into 2 Point Museum. You can get the little pixel guys from your expeditions and then put them in the museum. Some of the characters from Vampire Survivors will come to the museum and say stuff. You can put little effects on your tour guides.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, fun little crossover.
2 Point Museum, a cool game and a nice twist on the 2 Point. It is a pretty different game from 2 Point Hospital or 2 Point Campus.
Yeah. How so? I never played enough of it to really know the difference, really see the difference.
It's very much about designing your exhibits and kind of grouping your exhibits together. But then there's also a lot of grinding of like sending people out on expeditions to find treasures.
Yeah.
And so that's like a bit of a blind box mechanic. But you kind of have to have like walkability in mind. You have to, make sure that thematically the decorations near certain exhibits is right. You have to set up tours and route the tours through the museum and make sure that those are good.
Okay.
It's pretty different than the like make a room and then fill up the room and then a guy will work in the room.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's see. We got the launch trailer for Ball Pit.
Hey.
I've been
current content, darling.
Yep. Did an episode of this for Patreon, and then and then when we were done recording, I loaded it up to be like, maybe I'll try to play this one more time, and then it was like 4 hours later, and I was like, oh shit, damn. So very big. Speaking of Vampire Survivors, very big Vampire Survivors energy where
Breakout.
Yeah, once you get enough of you get certain builds and suddenly the screen is entirely just filled up with destruction and everything just melts in an instant. Or you get killed really fast, one way or the other. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool to see that these indie games go from release to like getting to launching on consoles right away. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
But this also seems like a really polished, really considered game. It doesn't seem like an early access demo sort of John.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely, and it's got a little bit of that like that Hades energy where when you lose a run, then there's like a meta game where you're building a settlement and you have to shoot your guys into the settlement to harvest crops and build buildings and stuff, and it's really easy to do that and then be like, oh okay, well now that I got those bonuses, I'm just going to go do one more run so that the time moves forward so I can, get another shot at the resource management. So, but yeah, it's also on Game Pass, so you can check that out. But it's great.
Ball X Pit.
We got the console release date for Man of the Adventure 2.
Why are they making a sequel to this game?
It's actually a third one. It's in development right now. I don't know. I didn't really care as much for the second one when we played it, but it's coming out on consoles, Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X on October 16th. So,
okay. I guess it's like a puzzle. They did some puzzles in it. Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't really suss out the first puzzle in the game, so it was a little upsetting because we had to look up the answer to the first puzzle while we were recording for it. So, I don't know.
Challenge.
There's another one of those IGN trailers, but this one that I really like. It's from the developer of Before Your Eyes, which was the game where if you blink, it moved time forward. It was like a story about a person's life, and every time you blinked, it would like move to a new scene. It was really interesting. This one is about being a telekinetic baby, and I don't know what exactly that entails. Like from the trailer, it seems like your baby is conscious, like that knows that they're a person before even being able to walk or talk. And so there's kind of a whole thing where you've got shenanigans where the baby is telekinetically moving things around and doing stuff. But then there's some kind of weird meta stuff that starts happening later on that has some interesting implications about the way that the story is going to be going moving forward, about what is real and what is not and that sort of thing. So
this seems like a fine 2-hour story game.
Yeah.
This seems like a fine game to spend $5 on and play a little first-person Pixar game.
Mm-hmm.
It looks cute. The animation's really cute. The design is really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. This is going to be one of those games where it looks really, really cool, and you get it, and it's gonna be like 45 minutes.
I mean, yeah. The first Before Your Eyes game was like an hour to 90 minutes long, and so it would not surprise me if this was less than 2
I'm worried
hours.
I'm seeing the whole fucking thing in this trailer.
Maybe, I don't know. Some of the stuff that's in here, like I said, there's weird implications about what exactly is going on. So it's also got a pretty good voice cast. Lewis Pullman, wow. The guy that played the Sentry in Thunderbolts, he's the voice of the baby. Carrie Kinney is in there from the state.
Hey.
Yep. Yeah. And Bo Bridges is in there as well. So, yep. And it's coming out November 11th. 11/11.
There we go. That's an angel number.
Is it?
No.
Okay. Code Vein 2 got a big story trailer. I've kind of needed to know what's going on in Code Vein 2 to know whether I was interested in playing it. And it seems like there's a lot of vampire time travel involved in Code Vein 2, where there's some kind of apocalypse and then you have to go back to try to solve it. You're the weird Dante looking dude in a trench coat with buckles on it. And then you're going to third person fight a bunch of weird bosses. So
I don't remember Code Vein 1. Was that like a PSP thing or something?
Nope. Third person action game where you played as a vampire in like a post apocalyptic world. The front of it had like a lady with a big, tall, like fuzzy Russian hat on it in like a short anime skirt. It had the world's most ridiculous character creator because they didn't limit how many things you could add. So you could literally just keep adding like accessories to it until your character looked like a damn monster. I don't know. It's one of those games that people like a lot, but probably doesn't have the widest
like a B game.
Yeah, the widest of appeals. So,
well, so did the story trailer? Did you say that this story trailer, the story seems like it is there for you?
Seems like a very anime story. I don't know. Like it seems like it seems like
you like those.
Yeah, it seems like it seems a little nearish, like kind of time and
post-apocalypse.
Yeah, kind of stuff. So I don't know, but I don't know. It's coming out in January. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So that's good. Skate Story got a release date. Another December release. This has been one that's been on the radar for a long time. Did you say you played the demo for Skate Story?
I watched someone play the demo today. It was about an hour or so, though he didn't really didn't play it very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks neat. It's like Elden Ring, but you're skating around in a world, and it kind of looks like I don't know, one of those indie games where they do a lot of text on screen, and it's the sans serif or the serif font, and you're like made out of glass.
Yeah. So if you wipe out, you shatter. Yeah.
That's just it looks really cool. I don't know what this like the whole story is about. Like you gonna eat the moon, and
the story in the trailers has always been that you're a pane and glass demon that's trying to skateboard your way out of hell. But I don't know if that was what came through in the demo. So
no, I was also doing other stuff. This looks really cool. And it seems like you do some interesting stuff with like boss battles and interacting with the world.
Okay.
Neat.
Yeah.
Check out the demo. The demo's out.
Check it out, or check out the full thing in December. Either way. 100. Okay, so let's finish it up here. 1000X Resist is coming to consoles. This is last year's big like narrative kind of apocalypse story where you play as this lady that there was like an illness and everybody died, and this one person who survived cloned themselves over thousands and thousands of generations. Everybody says this game is like the coolest thing they've ever played. I played it and I was like, it had a very slow start. I don't know if it gets better, but it had a very slow start and I had a hard time connecting with it. But everybody else says it's rad, so
I didn't love it. I thought it was kind of a slog to get through. With a lot of I think a lot of that game is walking around a big mega structure, and it's not that cool to look at.
Okay.
It's not that cool to look at. And this, I mean, I don't know if this is a game where they're doing any sort of content updates, but it's a dramatic story. It's got twists and turns, but I think it is just so spaced out and kind of glacial with just the actual playing of it felt like a chore.
Okay.
Which I really try not to feel with narrative games. Like I'm totally into like low action games, very low impact, low interactivity games. It's a lot of fucking walking around in this atrium, dog.
Well, you can also check it out on Game Pass on November 4th if you want to give it a try. Yeah, I agree. I'm usually pretty open to whatever type of game there is out there, but even with a narrative game,
Can't go up the stairway. There's a wall here.
I like a
you
good
need to go up the other stairway.
A good hook. I need the hook needed to be faster and harder than it was.
It was way too long. It's just way too long for what's there is really cool, and it's like a little thin, and it is really stretched.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna.
No problem. Let's see. We got the confirmation that Until Dawn remake is going to be on PS Plus this October. We already knew that Silent Hill 2 remake was going to be on there, but they now got Until Dawn as well as V Rising, Poppy Playtime, bunch of horror games to play. So you can go check that out. There's a new Final Fantasy Dissidia. Unfortunately, it's a mobile game. I really, 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 really like Final Fantasy Dissidia. I believe the original was a PSP game where it was basically like before we were living in this world of endless crossover stuff. It was all of the protagonists from each Final Fantasy game going into this nebulous world to have an anime fight with the bosses of the Final Fantasy franchise, and I really liked it. But the new one is going to be a phone game, which probably means, I don't know, I'm probably not going to play it unless they do one of those things where they put it out on Steam.
Well, they probably will, because that's what they've done with all those other Dissidia games, right?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's if they don't shut it down. Square has not had a good track record about live service games over the last few. So I don't know. Let's see. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be coming for the Switch 2 in December. There was a leaked retailer listing for that. So we're in the early days of putting everything on the Switch 2. So we're going to see the new Assassin's Creed on there.
Okay.
Let's see the latest from Chucklefish, Witch Brook, which is like a cozy pixel-based. You're going to a witch college game, kind of isometric. Has been pushed to next year to do a little bit more work on it. Supposed to come out later this year, but it's been pushed out and to launch sometime in 2026. So,
okay, this is the first time hearing of it.
Yep.
Who's Chucklefish again?
They make a lot of good indie games. It's hard to remember. Let's see. I think they're like a publisher, right? So they publish more games. It's like Wargroove and is it Stardew Valley in there?
They're we technically do Stardew Valley.
Yes, I think so.
I gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, a lot of little indie games out there. I've liked the stuff that they got. Like they put out the Locomotive. I really like that game quite a bit. So, let's wrap it up with a few fun things. You were talking before about Ben Schwartz being your Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's right.
Well, bad news, good news. I don't know what kind of news this is. Apparently, that GPS Waze navigation app that you can get a bunch of people, like a bunch of different voices for, will now let you have Sonic be the voice of your GPS navigation.
That's fun.
Apparently, I listened to a lot of his lines on YouTube, and I don't think he says you got to go fast. I don't think he ever encourages you to go really fast in your car, which
that's crazy. That's the one thing he does.
Why?
It's the thing he says. You have got to go fast.
Yeah. I listened to about 2 minutes worth of Sonic talking to me about going places in my car, and then I got bored and turned it off. So, let's see. Also, though, some crazy person has modded Jack Black's Minecraft Steve into Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. In a couple of different ways. One of them is a 3D scan version, basically, of kind of a weird virtual action figure of Jack Black riding on like a hoverboard. One of them is like the Minecraft Jack Black skin for actual Minecraft, but they also put in a bunch of his voice lines. So if you watch this, every time he does like a certain pickup, he says, "I am Steve," and if you shoot another guy, he says, "Chicken Jockey." And so,
okay, did this have a Minecraft level, or is that also added?
No, it had a Minecraft level. The Sonic Crossworlds Racing had a whole shitload of like weird crossover stuff that was happening in it. So,
so it had a Minecraft level, but not like a Minecraft character.
I think it has just like regular Steve, and then they put like Minecraft or like Jack Black Minecraft movie
Black
Steve.
So, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, so if you want to hear Jack Black say "I am Steve" over and over and over again, you can now do that.
Chicken Jockey.
And last but not least, McDonald's is getting some delicious Street Fighter themed hamburgers. And I want them. I want them quite a bit. I watched this little. They put out a little trailer on the X, and they put a bunch of hamburgers into the Street Fighter. And they put McDonald's in the background of the Street Fighter. It's like a egg and garlic burger, and there's like a chicken sandwich, and then like a triple Mac type of thing. So
okay.
I don't know, it all looks more delicious than any McDonald's food I've had in my country, and I would eat any one of those in a heartbeat. So
look, we also have specials and slop. We just don't do as many advertorials about it.
Yes, that is true.
They have got the revenue from doing these because we do plenty of crazy things around here.
Mm-hmm.
We're smashing burgers now. Jack in the Box got a smashed burger. Every time I order it, they accidentally give me a double, even if I order a single.
Are they just trying to get you to go back to Jack in the Box?
Like, we smashed 2 of them. We fucked it up. Here, take it.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Bryce, tell the 5 people at home where they can find you. We're not over here helping me run through all these news stories.
Check out marbles.win. It's the website for the Marbles Twitch streams that I do on Thursday nights. We are near the end of season 13, but we have a few more matches coming up on Thursdays, including one on Halloween night.
Ooh.
So if you are looking for something to do on Halloween night, why don't you join us? Twitch.tv/Brykaz is where that is, or the website marbles.win. It is, in fact, a URL. Thank you.
Excellent. And as always, patreon.com/RageSelect. You can go there. You can help support the show.
What, am I going to get like
kick
2
us,
bonus videos?
Kick us some bucks. You get so many bonus videos.
Like 3
it's like a spreadsheet. I did the math one time, and it was like if I just stopped making videos and I just started posting Patreon videos, I would have had like 3.5 to 4 years of content. Easy. So lots. There are lots. I'm putting them all on Patreon. There's also a big email blast every Monday, and we have the Discord server if you want to come and hang out with us. So yeah, come help support the website. It is a good thing to do. So,
yeah.
And that's it. We're done. We're done. Finally, there's no more news. We read all the news. Don't tell me they keep making news after this. I finished it. I finished the news.
That's right. That's the end of the podcast. We wrapped up all the news.
All the news.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.